Ladies and gentlemen, every single day you wake up and take action. You move, you work, you strive. But have you ever stopped to ask yourself, why? Why do you do what you do? Because if your actions lack purpose, even the greatest effort can feel empty. But when your what aligns with a powerful why, that's when momentum turns into mastery. Every action we take begins somewhere deeper than movement. Before the hand moves, before the step is taken, before the words are spoken, something inside us makes a choice. That inner force is purpose. Purpose is not a fancy slogan, it's the unseen engine that turns thought into action and action into unstoppable momentum. Without it, movement is random. With it, movement becomes meaningful, deliberate, powerful. When you understand and embrace your purpose, you stop simply reacting to life and start directing it. You stop drifting and start driving. You stop existing and start creating. The difference between someone who takes a step and someone who conquers mountains isn't the strength of their legs. It's the fire in their heart. It's their reason. Think back to any time in your life when you felt truly alive. Not just busy, not just productive, but alive. Like your soul was awake. Maybe it was when you were chasing a dream, standing up for something you believed in, helping someone in need, or working on something that set your spirit on fire. In that moment, you weren't just doing, you were driven. You didn't need someone to motivate you. You didn't need constant reminders. The energy came from inside. That's what happens when your actions are fueled by purpose. Energy becomes automatic. Motivation stops being external and starts becoming internal. And when your energy is internal, nothing can stop you. On the other hand, think about the times when you struggled to stay consistent. You woke up tired, unmotivated, questioning why you were even doing what you were doing. Maybe the task was the same, but your connection to the reason behind it had faded. The purpose was unclear, or maybe it was never defined in the first place. And so, the smallest obstacles felt like massive walls. Simple setbacks became excuses to stop. That's what happens when you're disconnected from your why. The body may move, but the spirit resists. There's no fuel in the engine, just effort with no direction. And over time, that drains you. Purpose changes the way we perceive pain and difficulty. When we know why we're fighting, pain becomes part of the journey instead of a reason to quit. Imagine an athlete training before the sun rises, exhausted, drenched in sweat, muscles burning. If they were doing it just for the sake of it, they'd stop the moment it got uncomfortable. But if they're doing it to represent their country, to honor a promise, to rewrite their story, the pain becomes proof of progress. The same physical sensation that would make someone else quit becomes a badge of honor for them. That's what purpose does. It transforms suffering into strength, setbacks into stepping stones, and exhaustion into exhilaration. This isn't just about big, dramatic dreams. Purpose can be found in the smallest moments of daily life. A parent working long hours not because they love exhaustion, but because they want their child to have a better future. A student studying late into the night not just for a grade, but because they see education as their way to break barriers. A leader making tough decisions not to feel powerful, but because they care deeply about the people they serve. In each of these cases, it's the purpose, not the task itself, that fuels the discipline, the resilience, the fire. When your purpose is clear, procrastination loses its grip. People often think procrastination is about laziness, but in reality, it's often about lack of clarity. When the why behind your actions isn't compelling, your brain starts negotiating. It says, I'll do it later. It's not that important. I can wait. But when your why is strong, that negotiation never happens. You wake up and move because the mission is alive inside you. You don't need to be pushed. You're pulled by something bigger than comfort. The most extraordinary transformations in history were driven by people whose actions were anchored in deep purpose. These individuals were not superhuman. They felt fear, doubt, and exhaustion like everyone else. But their purpose was stronger than their fear. It was louder than their doubt. It was brighter than their fatigue. Purpose gave their actions consistency, and consistency is what builds greatness. Anyone can be motivated for a day, but only purpose can keep you moving for years. Purpose also creates focus. When you know why you're doing something, distractions lose their power. The noise around you can be loud, but it doesn't shake you. People's opinions may come and go, trends may shift, but when your actions are aligned with a deep reason, you develop tunnel vision. You stop chasing every shiny object because you know what truly matters. You stop comparing your journey to others because you're driven by something personal, something unique to you. Purpose eliminates confusion and sharpens your direction like a laser. Sometimes people say they don't know their purpose, and that keeps them stuck. But the truth is, purpose often isn't something you find once, it's something you create through action. It's built through decisions, experiences, and reflection. Waiting for it to appear perfectly formed is like waiting to the wind to move a ship sitting in the harbor with its sails down. You have to raise the sails first. Start moving, start doing, and as you act, as you reflect, clarity grows. Once it does, everything accelerates. Your actions gain momentum because the force behind them is no longer weak or uncertain. It's intentional. Purpose also makes sacrifice meaningful. When you act without purpose, sacrifices feel like losses. Time lost, energy lost, opportunities missed. But when your purpose is clear, sacrifice becomes investment. You know why you're saying no to certain things. You know why you're working late, waking early, or enduring short-term discomfort. You're not just giving up something. You're building towards something. And when you view your sacrifices as investments in a meaningful outcome, they don't weigh you down, they lift you up. There's another dimension to purpose that often gets overlooked: emotional power. Purpose connects your actions to your emotions, and emotions are what drive humans more than logic ever will. You can logically understand that something is good for you and still not act on it. But if something hits you emotionally, you move. That's why stories are so powerful. They connect to purpose. When your why isn't just intellectual but emotional, it taps into your deepest energy reserves. You stop acting out of obligation and start acting out of inspiration. And inspiration has a different quality to it. It's lighter, faster, more sustainable. Even biologically, humans are wired to endure hardship when it's tied to meaning. People can survive incredible challenges, wars, disasters, personal crises, not because they had extraordinary strength, but because they held on to a reason to keep going. That reason is what keeps the mind clear, the heart steady, and the actions consistent. When you have no reason, even small storms feel overwhelming. When you have a powerful reason, even hurricanes can't break you. Every great vision starts as a spark, but it's purpose that keeps the flame alive when the wind blows. Talent, skill, and resources matter, but without purpose, they lose power over time. With purpose, even limited resources can produce extraordinary results. Because purpose multiplies your effort. It turns ordinary people into unstoppable forces. It makes you persistent when others give up, focused when others are distracted, and alive when others are merely existing. Purpose also creates a ripple effect. When your actions are fueled by a strong purpose, people around you feel it. Energy is contagious. Your passion inspires others to look within themselves. Your commitment gives them permission to rise. Your clarity helps them find their own. In this way, living with purpose doesn't just transform your life, it impacts everyone you touch. One person fully alive in their purpose can ignite a movement. One person aligned with their why can change families, communities, even nations. But purpose isn't static, it evolves as you do. The purpose that drives you today may deepen, expand, or shift tomorrow. That's natural. The key is to stay connected to it, to reflect regularly, to ensure your actions and your reasons stay aligned. When they drift apart, you'll feel it: burnout, frustration, confusion. That's your signal to pause and realign. When they click back into place, momentum returns. It's like tuning an instrument. The music only flows when the strings are in harmony. Some people wait for motivation before they act. But the truth is, motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes like the weather. Purpose, on the other hand, is like the sun. It may be hidden by clouds temporarily, but it's always there. When you tap into purpose, you don't need to chase motivation. You become the source of it, and that makes you unstoppable. Every action you take is either fueled by purpose or by habit. Habits can keep you busy, but purpose makes you impactful. Purpose gives weight to your actions. It turns routine into ritual. It turns ordinary tasks into sacred missions. It turns daily work into legacy building steps. When you understand this, you stop living on autopilot. You wake up with intention. You step forward with conviction. You push through barriers with courage because the fuel inside you is real. And the beautiful thing is, anyone can access this. Purpose isn't reserved for the rich, the famous, or the chosen few. It's available to every single human being who decides to connect their actions to a meaningful reason. Whether your purpose is to inspire, to provide, to heal, to create, to protect, or to grow. When you let that purpose drive your actions, your life transforms. Challenges don't disappear, but you rise above them. The world doesn't suddenly become easy, but you become powerful. So every day ask yourself not just what you're doing, but why you're doing it. Anchor your actions to something bigger than comfort, bigger than fear, bigger than temporary setbacks. Let purpose be the fuel in your engine, the compass for your decisions, and the fire in your heart. Because when your purpose is strong, your actions become unstoppable. And when your actions are unstoppable, your impact becomes inevitable. Resilience isn't built in moments of comfort. It's forged in the fire of adversity. It's easy to keep moving when everything is going your way, when the wind is at your back, when the doors open easily. But resilience shows itself when the path gets rough, when the lights go out, when the crowd disappears, and all that remains is you and the challenge in front of you. And in that moment, what determines whether you stand or crumble isn't just strength, it's intention. Intention is the silent force behind every comeback. It's the reason some people rise after being knocked down, while others stay on the floor. It's not luck. It's not talent. It's the clarity of purpose behind their actions that keeps them standing when others would give up. When you have a powerful intention, setbacks stop being stop signs, they become detours. A strong intention gives meaning to struggle. Without intention, hardship feels senseless. It feels like the universe is picking on you. Every obstacle feels personal. Every delay feels like defeat. But when you have a clear intention, challenges become part of the plan. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And you start asking, how can this shape me? That shift alone changes everything. Because when you believe that every setback is connected to something meaningful, your mind starts looking for solutions instead of excuses. Intention doesn't erase pain, but it gives pain a purpose. And pain with a purpose becomes fuel. Think about the strongest people you've ever known. Not necessarily physically, but mentally and emotionally. The ones who seem to keep going no matter how many times life hits them. They're not superhuman. They have doubts, fears, and moments of weakness like everyone else. But when they get knocked down, something inside of them whispers, this is not the end. That whisper is intention. It's the vision they carry inside that's louder than the noise outside. It's the reason they get up again and again, even when nobody's watching. When intention is strong, resilience becomes natural. Resilience is often misunderstood as simply being tough, as if it's about gritting your teeth and pushing through anything. But real resilience isn't about pretending you don't feel pain. It's about feeling it fully and still choosing to move forward because your intention is bigger than your discomfort. When you know why you're doing something, your threshold for pain expands. What once would have made you quit becomes just another hurdle to clear. Your mind stops framing challenges as threats and starts seeing them as tests. And with each test you pass, your resilience grows. There are moments in life when everything seems to crumble at once. Plans fall apart, people disappoint you, circumstances shift overnight. In those moments, your outer world can feel like quicksand. The harder you struggle without direction, the deeper you sink. Intention acts like a solid foundation beneath the chaos. It doesn't necessarily change the situation, but it changes your posture within it. Instead of flailing, you stand firm. Instead of reacting blindly, you respond deliberately. Intention gives you emotional stability in turbulent times. It keeps your eyes fixed on the horizon when the storm tries to blind you. When your intention is shallow, your resilience is shallow too. If your goals are rooted only in comfort, validation, or short-term rewards, then the first big obstacle will crush you. Because when the reward disappears temporarily, your reason disappears with it. But when your intention is rooted in something deeper, something that resonates with your values, your vision, your soul, then temporary discomfort doesn't scare you. It strengthens you. You become like a tree with deep roots. The winds may shake your branches, but your foundation holds. Shallow intentions snap easily under pressure. Deep intentions bend and bounce back stronger. Intention also brings clarity to the chaos of setbacks. When things go wrong, it's easy to panic. It's easy to question everything, to lose your sense of direction. But if you started with a clear intention, that becomes your compass. No matter how many twists the road takes, you always know why you're walking it. That's why intention-driven people don't get paralyzed by failure. They analyze, they adjust, they adapt, but they don't lose themselves. Their sense of purpose keeps them anchored even when everything else seems uncertain. Sometimes life will test you in ways you never anticipated. You'll give your best, and still, things won't go according to plan. It's in those moments that intention reveals its real power. If your effort is tied to external results alone, failure will feel like a dead end. But if your effort is tied to a deep intention, failure becomes feedback. It's not a wall, it's a mirror showing you what to refine. People who operate with strong intention don't crumble at the first sign of failure, they extract lessons from it. They use the setback as a stepping stone. Their resilience is not blind stubbornness, it's intelligent persistence. There's a certain calmness that comes with strong intention. When you know why you're doing something, you don't get thrown off by every distraction, every criticism, every delay. You stop seeking constant validation, because your intention itself validates your journey. This inner certainty creates resilience. It makes you less reactive, more centered. You stop wasting energy on doubt and start channeling it into action. You stop fighting battles that don't matter because you know exactly which hill you're willing to climb, no matter the cost. Resilience isn't built overnight. It's built in the daily choice to show up even when you don't feel like it. And intention is what powers that daily choice. Anyone can work hard when they're excited. But it's the people with intention who keep working when the excitement fades. Intention keeps you disciplined when motivation runs out. It's the invisible contract you sign with yourself that says, no matter what happens, I'm staying the course. And every time you honor that contract, your resilience muscles grow stronger. Sometimes people think they need to eliminate fear or doubt to be resilient, but that's not true. Resilience isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision to move forward in spite of it. And that decision is fueled by intention. When your intention is crystal clear, fear loses its grip. It may still whisper, but it no longer commands. Intention gives you the power to act not based on how you feel in the moment, but based on what you've committed to. That shift from emotion-driven to intention-driven action is where true resilience is born. Every great achievement requires enduring discomfort. Every dream worth chasing comes with roadblocks. The difference between those who quit and those who rise isn't who had the easier path, it's who had the stronger intention. Intention doesn't guarantee a smooth journey, but it guarantees you won't be easily broken by a rough one. When your mind is anchored in intention, resilience stops being something you force and starts being something you embody. Legacy is not built in a single moment. It's shaped in the quiet consistency of everyday actions aligning with a deeper sense of purpose. Legacy isn't what you leave behind accidentally. It's what you create intentionally by living in alignment with what truly matters to you. People often think legacy is about massive achievements, titles, or wealth. But those things fade. Buildings crumble, trophies gather dust, titles get forgotten. What lasts is the impact of a life lived in alignment when your actions, values, and purpose move in the same direction. That's when every step, every choice, every effort compounds into something bigger than yourself. Alignment is about integrity between what you believe, what you say, and what you do. When these elements are disconnected, life feels scattered. You might achieve some things, but they don't leave a lasting imprint. But when they are aligned, something powerful happens. Your life starts to have a rhythm, a flow, a sense of clarity. You stop chasing everything and start becoming something. Your energy is no longer wasted trying to be many different versions of yourself. Instead, it's concentrated into one clear path. That focus is what builds legacy because it creates consistency over time. People may forget what you say, but they never forget the energy of someone who lives with unwavering alignment. Many people spend their lives achieving without aligning. They work hard, they build careers, they accumulate things, but deep down they feel a sense of emptiness. It's because achievement without alignment is like building a skyscraper on shifting sand. It might look impressive for a while, but eventually it tilts, cracks, and collapses. Alignment provides the foundation that makes achievements meaningful and enduring. It's the difference between success that vanishes with you and legacy that continues long after you're gone. When your actions are aligned with your values, people feel it. It creates trust. It inspires others. Think about someone whose presence alone inspires respect, not because they demand it, but because their life speaks louder than their words. That kind of presence isn't built overnight. It's built through years of living with clarity and alignment. It's the accumulation of thousands of small, aligned choices that shape how people remember you. Legacy is never built in one big moment. It's built in the everyday moments when nobody's watching. Alignment requires honesty with yourself. It means asking tough questions. Am I living according to what I say matters most? Are my daily actions supporting the future I want to create? Am I walking the talk or just talking? Many people avoid these questions because they reveal uncomfortable truths. But legacy isn't shaped by avoiding discomfort. It's shaped by facing reality, realigning when you drift, and staying true to what matters most even when it's hard. That level of self-honesty is rare, and that's exactly why legacies built on alignment are powerful, because they stand out in a world where many settle for appearances over authenticity. There will be times when staying in alignment feels inconvenient. It's easier to compromise, to take shortcuts, to choose comfort over conviction. But every time you do, You chip away at your legacy. On the other hand, every time you choose alignment, even when it's hard, you strengthen the foundation of what you'll be remembered for. Those moments become part of your story. They're the invisible bricks in the structure of your legacy. People might not see those decisions in the moment, but they will feel their effects over time. Alignment also creates direction. When you know what you stand for and your actions match it, decisions become clearer. You stop living reactively, constantly swayed by circumstances or other people's opinions. Instead, you act proactively, guided by an internal compass. That sense of direction makes your efforts more impactful because they're not scattered across conflicting goals. Every action builds upon the last. That accumulation over time is what gives a legacy its strength. It's not about doing everything. It's about doing the right things consistently. When your inner world and outer actions are aligned, you radiate a kind of stability that others naturally trust. People are drawn to those who live in alignment because it gives them a sense of certainty in a chaotic world. You become an example not through preaching, but through living. And examples are far more powerful than instructions. Long after your words fade, the memory of how you lived remains. That's legacy. Legacy doesn't require fame. It doesn't require millions of followers or a platform. Some of the greatest legacies are built quietly, in families, in communities, in friendships, in small acts of integrity repeated over decades. A parent who consistently shows love and discipline leaves a legacy. A teacher who inspires generations of students leaves a legacy. A person who treats others with respect and kindness, no matter their position, leaves a legacy. These legacies are often more impactful than the loud, public ones because they touch lives at the deepest levels. Alignment also brings peace. When your life is aligned, you stop feeling like you're constantly fighting yourself. You stop living two lives, the one in your head and the one in reality. That inner harmony allows you to focus fully on creating, contributing, and living meaningfully. And this peace doesn't just benefit you, it impacts everyone around you. People can feel when someone is at peace with who they are and how they live. That energy becomes part of the legacy you leave behind. Not just what you did, but how you made people feel. There will always be temptations to drift out of alignment. Life is full of distractions, pressures, and external voices telling you what you should do, who you should be, how you should live. The key is to return to alignment every time you notice the drift. It's like steering a ship. Even if the wind pushes you off course, you keep adjusting the sails to get back on track. Legacy isn't built by never drifting. It's built by always realigning. That commitment to alignment over time creates a story that people remember, respect, and learn from. Sometimes people think legacy is something to focus on at the end of life, as if it's a final chapter you write when everything else is done. But legacy is written every single day. Every choice you make, every action you take, every value you uphold or ignore. These are the sentences in the story of your legacy. Waiting until the end to think about it is like trying to write a book on the last page. The truth is, your legacy is being shaped right now in this very moment through how aligned you are with what truly matters. When you live in alignment, opportunities come and go, but your sense of self remains steady. Wins don't make you arrogant and losses don't break you. That steadiness is rare, and that's why it leaves a mark. People are moved by consistency. They remember the ones who didn't just rise during the good times, but stood tall during the storms. Alignment gives you that strength because it roots you in something deeper than circumstances. It makes your legacy unshakable. Alignment also magnifies impact. Two people can do the same action. Give a speech, start a business, help someone. But the one doing it from deep alignment has a different energy, a different presence. Their actions resonate more because they come from a place of truth. That authenticity is felt even if it's not consciously articulated. And over time, those aligned actions build a legacy that echoes far beyond the moment. A misaligned life may achieve temporary success, but it leaves confusion and fragmentation behind. People remember inconsistencies more than accomplishments. But when your life is aligned, even if you don't achieve everything you set out to, people will remember your integrity, your clarity, your unwavering commitment to your values. That's the kind of legacy that endures because it's built on something real. Building legacy through alignment doesn't require perfection. Nobody gets it right all the time. What matters is your commitment to keep coming back to what matters most, to recognize when you've strayed, to correct course, and to keep moving forward in truth. People respect authenticity more than they respect flawless facades. A legacy built on alignment and authenticity is far more powerful than one built on pretending. At the end of the day, legacy isn't about how much you've collected. It's about how much of your true self you've expressed through your actions. It's about living in a way that your life tells a clear story, a story that others can be inspired by, learn from, and carry forward. When your actions, values, and purpose are in harmony, that story becomes unforgettable. You don't have to force your legacy, you become it. And here's the most powerful part: alignment is a choice. It's a decision you make every day. You can choose to live fragmented, chasing different versions of yourself that never fully connect. Or you can choose to bring everything together, your beliefs, your words, your actions, and walk one clear, powerful path. That choice, repeated over years, writes a legacy that no one can erase. So live in alignment, act with integrity, speak with clarity. Let your values shape your actions, and let your actions shape the world around you. Because legacy doesn't come from trying to be remembered. It comes from living in such a way that forgetting you would be impossible.